government of the rebel MPs. The Halton Price and Howden MP, David Davis, voted against his own Prime Minister, his own government last night. We'll find out why now, because I can say good morning to David and thank him for coming on the programme this morning. David, morning to you.
Good morning.
Why did you vote against your government and your Prime Minister last night?
Well, because every single country inside the European Union is undergoing austerity measures. I mean, we are, in the most extreme case, the Greeks are, huge cuts in their spending. Everybody in the Union is going in for government cuts, but the European Union itself isn't. And it is a profligate, wasteful organisation. There's loads of room that you could cut with no harm to its operation. So we actually think the cut is in order, not actually the big increase that the European Union itself wants, or indeed even, frankly, the so-called freeze, the real terms freeze, which actually means a cash increase, that the government is starting its negotiating position at.
Give us some facts and figures. I read with interest you did a big article in the Daily Mail, the National Daily Mail, yesterday, stating your case. I thought there were some interesting stats in there. Give us a flavour of some of the amounts we're talking about.
Well, I mean, let's just start with the ones you can actually easily understand. I mean, I don't know about you, but I have trouble with understanding billions.
Yeah.
Let's start with what they pay themselves. You know, the European foreign minister, actually a Brit, somebody who's a sort of second or third ranking minister in our country, gets paid, I think it's 240,000 euros from memory. That's over 100,000 euros more than Hillary Clinton is paid, the foreign secretary, as it were, of the United States. And this is true right across the board. There are thousands of European Union officials paid more than 100,000 euros a year, huge amounts of money for an oversized organisation. The organisation itself costs 4 times as much to run as our Ministry of Defence. In a number of the areas where they spend money, they spend it very wastefully. On research, for example, the best estimate is a third of the money is wasted. On international development, we reckon about a third of the money either is wasted or is defrauded one way or another. There are huge amounts of money, and I think we could actually reasonably ask for a cut of a quarter. Now, we're not going to get that, but that's perhaps where our opening negotiating position should be. As it stands, in the sort of punchline of an old joke, if we're going where we're going, if I were you, I wouldn't start from here.
Indeed. In principle, do you think we should be in Europe?
Well, if it carries on like this, no. I mean, my view is very simple. I think we should go in for a very, very big renegotiation to get the whole structure changed from our point of view. They may not want to change it for themselves, but what's happening as a result of the Eurozone is the answers that the Germans and the French and the Commission are coming up with for the Eurozone crisis being more and more centralisation, more and more money being controlled from the centre, less from the national governments, more laws being sent to the centre, less the national government. If they go that way, I think we're going to have a parting of ways. What I think we need to do is a major renegotiation, and then we put the outcome to the British people. Let them choose, let them decide. After all, it's not the MP's future we're talking about here, it's the whole country's future. So I think big renegotiation, probably on a mandate set by the people, and then a renegotiation. Then a referendum, sorry.
Yeah. Do you think we'll get that referendum? Is there the political will within government, within your party?
I think it's going to become irresistible. I mean, what you saw yesterday was MPs doing something they don't like doing, and I'm included in that, and that is voting to defeat their own government. It was only declaratory, it wasn't binding, but it was a very, very difficult thing for people to do. And 53 Tory MPs did that. People who actually want the best for the country, but don't like sort of giving their government a difficult time. And that shows you quite how strong the feeling is. And for every one that voted against the government, there were 2 or 3 who went through the other lobby with a heavy heart. I mean, I met a number who said that to me last night.
Will we get a referendum then, and soon?
Soon, I'm not so sure. I think we will. I think it's unavoidable. I do not think. All 3 political parties have in the past promised referenda and then not delivered them. So the British people will be within their rights in being a bit distrustful of promises on this. But I think that at some point in the next few years, there's going to be no way round actually having a referendum. What I want to see, however, is we do it on the right thing. We do it on a decision between a renegotiated option and maybe not being in at all. That's the sort of choice we should have, not just some referendum on another little treaty change or treaty fiddle. Let me explain, just in very simple terms, from last night, why this is necessary.
Right.
One of the arguments being put last night was, well, if we veto this budget, then what will happen is the other European countries can decide a new budget every single year for the next 7 years. Well, that's just wrong. You know, if you actually have exercise a veto, it should be a veto. That should be the end of the argument. It should be over. Not, well, if you exercise a veto, you actually lose your control, which is what's being said. Now, and it's true. It's true under the law. Now, time and time again we find this. When David Cameron exercised his veto last year, widely acclaimed for it, but what happened? The rest of the unions went on, did it anyway. When a few years ago we weren't in the social chapter, this famous working time directive, I think it's causing all sorts of problems in the health service now, stopping doctors working the hours they need to. That was brought in under health and safety rather than under labour law in order to force it through, even though everybody knew we didn't want to go down that route. Time and time again, we now find the system is rigged against us. As we stand here today, you've got a majority of the votes in the council in Europe actually being recipients of money, and therefore going to vote for more and more budget increases, not reductions. All these things are structural problems that we need to sort out. Otherwise, we're going to have arguments like yesterday, time and time again, and sadly, given where we are at the moment, we're going to keep losing time and time again. We've got to start Europe working for us again, or if not, then decide to go the other way. One or the other. And that demands a referendum. Absolutely demands a referendum.
Just a quick final point, because the phone line's getting a bit dodgy. We live in the Humber region. We're trying to make it a region. We're trying to expand it and make it a prosperous region right across northern Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire. We're dependent on trade with Europe. If we came out of Europe, David, would there be a big danger that would affect this area?
No. Well, there's a risk, of course, but you need to negotiate it properly. When we went into the European Union, the average foreign tariffs were well over 10% on any trade done. And this is the big thing for us, particularly through Hull to Rotterdam, big trade through our region. The average tariff is about 10% or more. Now it's below 4%. Not right across the board, but that's about the average. So the risks are a lot lower than they were 20 or 30 years ago. Secondly, countries like Norway, Switzerland, even Mexico have trading arrangements with Europe. Now, if they can have trading arrangements with Europe, why can't we? It really is as simple as that. Now, let's be clear. At this point, I'm not arguing to leave. What I'm saying is we should have a proper, tough renegotiation and then put it to the people. But it's not an option you should be absolutely scared about. There have been lots and lots of panic mongering and fear-mongering stories. Don't pay attention to that. This is a negotiable option if we really want to go that way.
David, thanks for your time this morning. Appreciate that. David Davis.